3. Okay, Estela.
Yes, good evening, everybody, and thank you for being here. We're going to have the testimonial of Chef Lee. I met him when he started coming to this padlock, like 3 months ago, approximately.
1 month ago.
1 month ago, not 3 months. It was 1 month ago. He's originally from Sarasota, and he had a very life-threatening illness. He suffered and he had surgery because of all the fat that they found in his arteries. So he has a very good testimonial and how he decided to change his life. He found information about T. Colin Campbell and how it's very important not to cook or eat with oils, low salt and low sugar. Thank you. Now I'll leave you with Jeffrey.
How's everyone doing? Good? Yeah, so actually my story started 1 year and 2 weeks ago. And I had a massive heart attack. I actually shouldn't be here right now. And I'm Christian, and there were several events that happened right before my heart attack that, if you're an odds person or probability person, there's no way that these things could have happened without a divine intervention. So Jesus intervened to make sure that I survived. So that's another story, which I'd be happy to talk to you guys about afterwards. Anyway, I had a massive heart attack. And I'm not a person that had any of the common risk factors. Over 50% of people who live in the Western world will have completely normal blood tests. Their numbers were just completely normal. And over 50% of the population the first evidence that they have heart disease is that they don't have a heart attack or a stroke. A stroke is just a heart attack in a different place, basically. And so what happened after that is I got rushed to Jackson Memorial Hospital. None of the ER people believed that I had a heart attack. And they thought I had a seizure of some sort. But long story short, they did an emergency open heart surgery. They were going to do a triple bypass, but they ended up doing a double bypass because they couldn't find the third artery, and I was bleeding out. So they sewed me back up. And it's brutal. You do not want to have to go through surgery. Okay? Prevention is much better than cure. Anyway, I got out and I met with my surgeon. He had a big pot belly, and he assured me that I would have a new lease on life and just go live your life. No conversation about reversal of the disease or what caused the disease. I read the surgeon's report, and I could tell that there was a complication. A lot of medical jargon. When I met the cardiologist, I asked him about it, and he told me, yeah, they were trying to do a third triple bypass. They couldn't find it. They sewed it back up. You have 90% blockage in that artery. If you have blockage anywhere, you have blockage everywhere. And so then I asked him, now what? And he said, well, you need to be on these 4 medications for the rest of your life. And we need to monitor you and probably do more invasive procedures. That did not sound at all palatable. So then I asked him, how do I dissolve this blockage? Blank look on his face. Then I asked him, what should I eat? I'm hearing a lot about the keto diet, which is major traction right now, which is basically the Atkins diet repackaged. Atkins died obese listen to your heart. So then I said, what about vegetarian? And he said, well, I'm doing keto. I went home, I was completely depressed. And I went and I researched, how could I dissolve these clogged arteries? Went to YouTube, and I spent thousands of hours. And what I discovered is, although keto sounds kind of interesting, it makes absolutely no sense. It's another top subject. I then found a small but growing group of highly distinguished medical professionals, 30, 40-year careers. Okay? Dean Ornish, Caldwell Esselstyn, Neil Bernard, Michael Clapper, and the list went on and on and on. So we're talking cardiothoracic surgeons, cardiologists, oncologists, neurologists, and they all came to the same conclusion based on literally hundreds of epidemiological studies. Big, long word. And what it means is it's the study of large groups of people over a long period of time, looking at what their lifestyle was, what they ate, how they moved, and what the result was. In there was T. Colin Campbell, who was a PhD nutritionist. This small and growing group came to the exact same conclusion that the consumption of animal protein is the cause of all of these so-called chronic diseases. Now, there's a lot of good people in a broken, corrupt system, which is the American healthcare system, which is actually the sickness industry. Big money interests. Pharmaceutical companies want you to be on their drugs forever. The hospitals want to do procedures on you. The food companies, they want you to believe the consumption of organic protein is good for you. It's not. Okay? So the first thing that happened to me was I had to wrap my head around this because I was in the nutritional industry for my entire life, nutritional supplement industry, and I thought I was eating well. I was eating all organic. But the net result of watching these documentaries, and I'm going to give you my email, because I put together an email so that you can get this information out to other people with a list of these documentaries. I implore you to watch this stuff. Here's the bottom line. We are right now witnessing an epidemic escalation of the incidence of a bunch of diseases. High blood pressure, diabetes, adult onset diabetes, high cholesterol, heart disease, strokes, MS, cancer. Now, the medical community, they're not trained on what causes it. They have no clue what causes it. They don't even look there. And they don't believe any of this is curable or preventable. What they think is it's just chronic, and they're going to manage your disease with medication and surgery. It's a lie. And they're trapped in that because of big money interests in the reimbursement model. So here's the truth. A whole food, plant-based, SOS-free diet. SOS means free of sugar, any kind of oil, and salt. You get plenty of sodium through a vegetarian diet. And what is whole food? It is eating the tomato the way God created it, an orange the way God created it, an avocado, a potato, a sweet potato. So whole food, that's what whole food means. Plant-based, vegetarian. Whole food, plant-based, SOS-free. Now, vegan is becoming just all the rage. So the big money interest food companies that are in there, making the Beyond Meat patties and Impossible Burger, and you're seeing all sorts of vegan cheeses and all this stuff. This is processed. It's refined and it's processed. It's not ideal for you. Okay? The big issue is whatever you put into your body, the standard American diet, which is sad, The question is, does it cause inflammation and damage these very special cells inside your blood lining? These small but growing group of informed doctors have gone against the status quo, risked their careers with a lot of courage, and they don't make any money off of this because you have to educate people, and you can prevent these diseases. You can reverse these diseases. So what happened to me? After watching these documentaries, I convinced myself, and I became a whole food plant-based, because I will do anything to avoid getting into the medical mill again. It's brutal. That's number one. And after watching these documentaries, by the way, I watched Forks Over Knives about 6 to 7, 8 years ago. That's T. Colin Campbell, the China study, is in it. And I became absolutely convinced and intuitively knew that I should have stopped eating animal protein. But I said to myself, I'm too busy. That's going to be too hard. So I didn't do it. If I did it, I would have avoided it. I got this really, really nasty scar here. And I got convinced 1 year ago to completely give up animal protein. So we're talking beef, we're also talking chicken and turkey and pork and eggs and dairy, milk, cheese, seafood. Anything with a mother or a face is bad for you. Not only is it bad for you, is if you watch in my email, I'll give you my email, I'll send you this email, watch some of the documentaries. A new one is called Dominion. If you watch it, it'll be one of the hardest things you'll ever watch, but you'll become a vegan immediately. We are torturing, murdering, exploiting animals for a palate preference. It's not good for our health. It's completely merciless. It's a 24/7 holocaust that's occurring. Billions of sentient beings are being tortured. And it's destroying our planet. So that's how I became a vegan in one day. And since that time, I've become passionate about it. Because I'm 60 years old, I spent a lifetime thinking I was doing the right thing. And we've all been programmed into certain beliefs. Every culture has programmed us, and every culture is a cult. And we have been programmed through the media to believe that the best form of protein is animal protein. These are complete lies. So if you want to be healthy, because 50% of the people that you know, over 50% of them, they're going to get heart disease or stroke or cancer or diabetes or high blood pressure. If you go this way, whole food plant-based, I used to have inflammation, gone. The first sign for a male of clogged arteries is ED, erectile dysfunction. I had that without knowing it. I just thought, oh, it's old age. And by eating the way I'm eating now, completely is dissolving the plaque. All of my blood numbers have improved on the blood test. I gave up all the medication because I don't trust the pharmaceutical companies whatsoever. Okay? I gave up all the medications. I went cold turkey, whole food, plant-based. I could not imagine putting an animal through suffering again. And so I will not put my money there. And anybody who wants to know, I'll donate my time to tell my story. And what else? And ED has gone away as well. So I know that my arteries are unclogging. If you've been eating animal protein, which you all probably have, you probably have blockage. More so than you would care to know. And the only way you're going to know is you're going to have a heart attack where they're going to do an invasive test. Cholesterol numbers, by the way, when the first statin drug came out, it was for, the guidelines were super high. It was for a very select group. It takes $1 billion for a pharmaceutical company to R&D a new drug with no guarantee that it will succeed. With statin drugs, they worked, okay, for a very select group with really, really elevated numbers. And by the way, there's lots of people with high cholesterol, they'll never have a heart attack. They created this story to get everybody on their drugs. They kept lowering the guidelines so that the doctor who gets educated by the pharmaceutical reps will brainwash you into thinking you need it. They created the story that there's good cholesterol or bad cholesterol. Again, complete lie. Okay? Do your research. The former president of the American College of Cardiologists, so he's a cardiologist. He's been a vegan for a while because he had high cholesterol. He lowered it. He was a tennis player. He said there's only two types of cardiologists. A vegan cardiologist and all the others that have not yet opened their eyes. They have not done the research. You have to think outside the box. This generation is not only the first generation that will live fewer years, but it's also the first generation that will be poorer than the past generation because of knowledge. We are being brainwashed. And so people perish for lack of knowledge. We need to open our eyes. And don't believe everything we've been taught. Because there are big money interests that are just all about domination and exploitation and greed. And that's just the way it is. That's my story. Thank you.